Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Tom, and I'm here with Michelle Fadia. She's a licensed professional counselor. Hello, Michelle. Welcome.
Hi, Tom. Thank you.
So today's question is, how does the skill of flexibility prevent anxiety?
Flexibility is so important when working with people who are struggling with anxiety. The opposite of flexibility is rigidity. And rigidity requires us to try to control everything so that we don't have anything unexpected happen. And remember, we cannot live with certainty. There's always going to be uncertainty in our life. There's always going to be the unexpected. But what rigidity requires is that we know what's going to happen for sure. We control everything. So if somebody's living a rigid life, they might need to eat the same thing for breakfast every day. Otherwise, they'll get anxious thinking if I don't eat the same thing for breakfast every day, then something bad's going to happen. Maybe they need to sit in the same seat on the bus every day. It has to be very controlled, because if we're controlling exactly what we do, then we can control what happens. Now, we know that that's a myth, that you cannot control everything that happens. And flexibility allows us to be expected for the uncertainty, to prepare for what is coming, knowing that we have the skills and the resources to handle it.
So if I'm generally kind of a rigid person, can I train myself to be more flexible?
Yes, absolutely. Look for places during your day that you can have some flexibility. And you probably already have a lot of flexibility, you just don't recognize it. So if you're going to school or work and you're running late and then you come across a train and you have to stop and wait for the train to pass, that's flexibility. If you get up late in the morning and you can't go through your normal morning routine and you have to leave some things out, that's flexibility. If you go to a restaurant and you want to order your favorite meal and they're out of it and you have to order something else, that's flexibility. So we're flexible throughout the day. We may just not recognize it. And one of the things I recommend is if you struggle with flexibility, every time you see yourself doing it, you write it down and you keep a record of how flexible you've been throughout the day.
So if I'm the parent of an anxious child, what are some things that I can do to help give my kids the skill of flexibility?
Well, it's important for our kids to learn about flexibility because they need to learn that it's not catastrophic when things don't go as planned. So as parents, at the end of the day, when you're sitting down to dinner, you can all go around and talk about something that you did that was flexible during the day. You can write down whenever somebody's flexible on a Post-it note and post it on a wall in your home so everybody can see the flexibility as it's experienced by family members. You can look at old photographs and see how people used to dress and how they dress now and see what the changes are. So we're showing kids that we're all flexible as we evolve. So they may not listen to the same music that they used to listen to or dress the same way they used to dress. And this shows them how things change over the years. You can even just take an uncooked piece of spaghetti and show that if you try to change that spaghetti, it's going to break. But if you take a cooked piece of spaghetti, how easy it is to tie that in a knot. And that's just a really good visual to show the importance of flexibility, because we can bend when we need to, but we are still together. We can still be okay.
So what do you mean by, if you look here on the screen, what do you mean by maybe can be enough?
Well, kids who are anxious need a lot of reassurance. And so they want to know this is going to turn out okay or that's going to turn out okay. Rather than feeding into that need for reassurance and teaching them that they can be flexible with whatever happens, sometimes just the response of maybe is enough. Maybe that will happen. I don't know. It might happen. I don't know. Let's see how it turns out, because I don't know. If you can just say maybe instead of giving them a definite answer, yes, this is how it's going to work out, you are teaching them to be flexible and to be able to respond with whatever comes up. We want kids to know that there are going to be challenging times, but it's not permanent. Everything is temporary. And because we're flexible, because they're learning the skill of flexibility, they're going to be able to see that if they just hang in there, things will improve and they have the resources for whatever comes up.
So how will flexibility help kids as they get older?
When kids are rigid, parents are often running around rearranging the environment to try to keep their kids from getting upset. And so, for example, if a child really wants chicken strips at a certain restaurant, the parent will call ahead to be sure that they still have chicken strips. Otherwise, they won't go, because if they show up and there are no chicken strips, then the child might throw a tantrum and refuse to order something else from the menu. Parents often will rearrange how people sit at the table because kids are so rigid, everybody has to sit a certain way, or everybody has to have the same routine at night, otherwise they get upset. So we want parents to really promote this flexibility, because as kids get older and they move out of the house, they're going to be living with other people who aren't going to rearrange their environment for them. So they might have a roommate in college who has certain things that annoy the kids, and they can't ask the roommate to change the way they are just to accommodate them. We want kids to know that when they go off on their own and they're around other people, that they can learn to manage how other people behave, and they can be flexible with whatever is given to them as they go out into the world.
So are there some things that have to be rigid?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We want to teach kids that for safety reasons, we always wear a seatbelt. That is never something that's flexible. When they're riding bikes, they always wear a helmet. That's never something that we're flexible. If they get up one morning and they want to have cake for breakfast, that's okay. I mean, we don't want to do that every day, but that's something that you can be flexible with. So when it comes to anything safety related, we do want to be rigid, and we teach that to our kids. But beyond that, most things we can teach flexibility to our children.
If you have questions about preventing anxiety, contact your own mental health care provider,
Or you can contact me at michellefadias.com or call me at 210-926-9535. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
Okay, thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Tom.